Hi there. Today we will learn about the new IELTS indicator exam, or as some people call it, IELTS at home. So nowadays, due to the coronavirus, most of the test places in the world are closed down, and as students have to pass their IELTS to continue their education, IELTS and British Council and IDP came up with an idea of taking IELTS indicator tests at home. So today we'll particularly analyze the structure of the test, tips and hacks, and much more stuff. For example, like how to cheat in the exam, how does a test look like? This is the most common question which I'm receiving from my students. So whenever you know how does the test look like, it's much better for you, right? Now we will watch a video from official IELTS representatives. They illustrated us how does process of IELTS indicator work and how IELTS indicator is constructed. I hope you enjoyed that video. However, in that video, there is not much information and they haven't illustrated us how does the test look like and the structure and stuff like that. Therefore, I need a further explanation.
Okay, let's get started. So first of all, we're going to look at the requirements of the test. Very first requirement is a quiet and comfortable place or space to take your test. IELTS exam is like not easy thing, it's very stressful thing, and you definitely don't want to make it even more stressful by being in a noisy space, by being in a space which is not comfortable for you. So therefore, make sure that before your exam your table is ready and no one is going to disturb you and you are in a quiet space. Second one, you're gonna need a laptop or a desktop computer. So this one is very important because you're not able to pass the exam with your mobile phone. So therefore, you should have these kind of devices. And we have some kind of requirements for those as well. I will show it later. Okay, third one is a stable internet connection. So this is one of the most important ones, especially in some countries where the internet connection is not stable. So make sure that your internet connection is stable, because once your internet connection disconnects from the test, that's it, your test is finished. So therefore, make sure that you are able to use it throughout 3 hours at least, right? Okay, number 4, so you're gonna have headphones, earphones, or speakers and microphone. So basically, headphones and earphones, they are necessary, and microphone, they're necessary for your speaking test. And as for like speakers or again headphones, they're needed in your listening test, right? In the other parts of the test, you're not gonna need those devices. And also one of the questions which students have been asking, is there a camera? So is there an invigilator in the exam? So fortunately for students, there is no invigilator, so you're gonna take exam on your own. That means you can do whatever you want. However, there are some requirements or there are some software which don't make you able to do that. I will show it later. So number 5, you're gonna need camera. It's for only speaking. So as I said, in listening, reading, and writing, you're not gonna have any type of camera. So no one is gonna look at you. Okay, number 6, for speaking test again, you're gonna have your ID with you or passport, right? So you're gonna show this as identification of your identity. Okay, number 7, you have to install Zoom software again for speaking exam. And number 8, I think this is the most important one, and most of the questions have been asking about this. This secure exam browser. So this is a software which locks your computer during the test, so you cannot do anything with your computer. So you cannot quit this software. Therefore, like you cannot cheat or use dictionary on your computer on which you are taking tests, right? So the last two apps, for example, Zoom and Secure Exam Browser, and instructions about how to install them will be sent to you by the IELTS officials, by IDP or by British Council, so that you will understand before your test. They will definitely send you, so it's easy. And now I'm going to show you some requirements which are necessary for those apps, especially for Secure Exam Browser. So minimum requirements here on the left side and recommended requirements. If you have Windows, so it's gonna be 64-bit and Windows 7 at least, or recommended Windows 10. It's much better. But if you're gonna have Mac OS, so it's like 10.12 version or the latest version 10.15. And you of course gonna have at least 121 megabyte free space on your disk in order to install the software. And of course, if you have more free space, it's better because your computer is gonna work faster, right? And the next thing you should have is administrator privileges. So it means you have to log in your computer as an administrator, not as user. You have to log in as administrator. Otherwise, you will not be able to process the test. And of course, one of the most important ones, download and upload speed. So your internet speed before your exam, before several days your exam, try to check different internet sources. For example, the hotspot from your phone, your Wi-Fi, your friend's Wi-Fi, your neighbor's Wi-Fi, anything. Make sure that you have at least 512 gigabytes per second, or it's better if you have up to or higher than 2 megabytes per second. So you'll be comfortable with that. Okay, so therefore make sure that I recommend you to use this kind of speed. If you have less than this, so don't process to test, your internet is not going to be able to connect you. And recommended browsers, so they are recommended by IELTS officially, the Chrome and Apple Safari and Microsoft Edge. So probably most of people going to use Chrome and Apple Safari. Okay, the next thing is the structure of the exam, or how do we take the exam, like how the exam is structured again. I talked about the structure of real IELTS exam in one of the previous videos. You can check that out in this corner. So now we will talk about the structure of IELTS indicator, which is basically almost the same. So first thing, of course, is listening. And as I said, you're going to need headphones or speakers for this one. It takes 30 minutes plus 2 minutes for checking your answers. So no 10 minutes checking for answers. So there's no answer sheet. You don't need to copy. Right, so therefore it takes only 2 minutes to check. So you will done the test and you will be given 2 minutes to revise everything. And it automatically submits itself. You don't have to copy your answers to the answer sheet, as I said. Okay, and second one is of course reading. It's still 3 passages. It is still difficult to read, the same difficulty reading, and it still takes 1 hour, and the same about the writing. And those 3 tests will be conducted in Secure Exam Browser, which will be sent to you by British Council or IDP. Okay, as for speaking will be held by Zoom, and they will send you a link for Zoom conference again by email or by SMS, right? So you will have that kind of test as well. So almost nothing changed in terms of structure except for listening, and of course except for invigilator, right, who is not present in the indicator test compared to the real life test. Okay, the next thing is how the test looks like. So if you know how test looks like, it's much better for you to pass. It's much easier for you to pass, right? So you have to know what to expect from test. So how does it look like? What is the form of the test? So now I'm going to show you the form, how the listening in the IELTS looks like.
Right, Judy. This week it's your turn to bring us up to date on your dissertation. So?
I've finished the basic research and planning and the first draft, and hopefully I can start writing the final version now.
Good. Not everyone knows your subject, so you'd better introduce it.
I've chosen to study everyday life in the East End of London in the early 20th century. Lots of books have been published about the East End, covering everything from health to how roads and districts got their names. So you might think it's an obvious subject to pick, but in fact I was brought up there, and I've always been interested in finding out how the area shaped my upbringing.
What materials did you use in your research?
As I said, a lot's been written about the area, and I used some of it to get an idea of what to cover. but the bulk of my work is based on the elderly people from the area who I managed to contact and arrange to meet, and then recorded as they talked to me. And when they referred to any specific events, I looked them up in local newspapers from the time.
Was it difficult to get enough source material?
Not a bit. The problem started when I thought I had enough material and sat down to devise a workable filing system. It took ages, but I was really glad of it when I came to writing the draft. Otherwise it would have been impossible.
And we also...
Now it is turn to show you how does the reading look like. So reading passage looks like exactly like in this video.
In the reading test, the text appears on the left and the questions on the right. To see all the text and the questions, you'll need to use both scroll bars.
And of course writing. Now this is the time to show you how writing looks like, and you can watch the video to see how does it look like.
There are two parts to the writing test, Part 1 and Part 2. You can answer the parts in either order. You write your answer in the space on the right of the screen. Your answers are saved automatically. You do not need to press Enter on your keyboard. For the reading and writing tests, the clock will turn red and flash when you have 10 and 5 minutes left.
Okay, so these were the videos about how does it look like, and speaking will be just simple Zoom conference. I think you don't have to be shown this, and only thing about speaking is that your part 2 will be shown by sharing their screen. And of course I would recommend you to have paper and pen everywhere with you. Okay, and of course one of the most received questions, how to prepare for the indicator test, and my answer is as usual. So there's nothing unusual about IELTS indicator test. The only thing is that it's not paper based, it's computer based, right? You pass it on your own computer at your own home. So therefore the preparation should be usual, and I will show you one website where you can take all the tests which look like exactly in IELTS indicator. So you can mock yourself and you see your results, and you can see how well you are prepared. The website is called IELTSonlinetests.com. So you can see the link here, just type it in your Google search and it will pop up. So what you need to do after you come to this test in order to pass the mock exam. So just press the Start Now button, and it will take you directly to this button. So mock test 2020. So let's say we are going to watch the mock test for May. So let's go there. And here we go. So listening, reading, writing, speaking. So all the tests. Let's say we are going to do listening test. So here is the test. So the audio, the questions, and here you can move to any other question. It's just like, simulator of the real test, and therefore I recommend this website to my students because it's just like passing real test. You're sitting at home, you're using your own PC, so therefore I think this is very, very good for you to use this website. You see, it's just like the reading, it's almost the same, so it's just with time. But in the real exam, as you saw, the time is over there, right? There's not much difference in this test and in the real test. So therefore, this is one of the best ways to practice everything. So thank you for your attention, and of course don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment. And if you need help with your indicator test, or you're going to prepare for this test but you don't know how, just let me know in the comments and I will help you guys. I will do my best to help you, and thank you. Goodbye.